How's it going? In this short video, we're going to talk about closing rates and sample sizes and how to evaluate your marketing sources. So let's go ahead and dive in. So when it comes to marketing, expectations can really make or break whether a campaign is successful. And when you go into a marketing campaign or you go into any kind of new, initiative that you're doing, if you have really high expectations when in reality those expectations should be lower, then you're probably going to dismiss that source or you're going to dismiss that initiative. You have to have really clear expectations. And this just comes back to understanding how different marketing initiatives work. So if you don't understand how those things work, you can watch videos on this channel. I talk a lot about it, and expectations are key to going in with the right mindset. But once you have expectations and you have some baseline numbers, you should be able to evaluate that campaign at the end of the period and say, this was a success or it was not a success. Whenever I'm vetting a marketing source or we are looking to do something because we pay other companies to do different types of marketing for us, I will typically ask the numbers that matter. So I'll ask, what is the conversion rate? How many leads am I going to get? What's the cost per lead? What do people usually close these leads at? If you're vetting marketing sources, these are the questions you need to be asking because you can back into whether you'll be successful or not without spending a dollar. So what I have here on this slide is kind of what you can expect from different types of marketing when it comes to your firm. So if you close at 10%, and this is on what's called raw leads. So all leads that come into your firm, whether they're qualified or not qualified, it's raw leads. That's why we call it raw leads. They're every single person who's had an inquiry, whether they're qualified or not qualified. That's a very important distinction because normally what lawyers do is they count only the good leads and then they say that that's their closing rate. That's a vetted lead that you've pre-qualified that you're closing 100% on. If you've talked to 100 people, are you going to close 100 people? Probably not. So that's an important distinction because I hear that a lot, especially when it comes to lawyers who only close referrals. If you're only closing referrals, that's the hottest lead you're going to get. I expect you to close at 100% or 95%. If you close on cold traffic at 10% on raw leads, you're crushing it. You have a money printing machine. If you close at 20%, forget it. You can hire 5 attorneys tomorrow. So in this example, what we're going to look at is a closing rate at 10%. So if you get 10 leads, one person is going to close off of that. So what that means from like a mindset shift is you may have to talk to 5, 10, or even 15 people before your numbers will actually play out. And so this picture kind of shows what a 10% closing rate looks like. There are 3 closes in this group. The blue guys are the closes. All of the other people are leads that didn't work out. And so if you see this, you talk to one person, another person, another person, another person, and boom, you got to close. Great. We're feeling great. Now this next run is going to be really rough. You can see that there's 2 rows of people that you talk to before you get your next 2 closes. Now the hard part about this from a sales standpoint, especially if you're doing the sales yourself, is when you're on that like 5th or 6th or 7th person and you haven't had a close, your mindset starts to shift. You're like, okay, these leads are bad. When in reality, you just haven't let the sample size play out. So it's important to stay really confident in the face of sales like this. If you're closing at 10, 20%, you can expect a long run of people to say no to you, but eventually you're going to get that second and third close, which in this sample size makes it a 10% closing rate. So it's really, really important, again, to understand those numbers when you go into a campaign, whether it's marketing statistics or it's sales statistics. You really need to know what sample sizes you need to look at, and you need to know what percentages of closing or conversion rates to look at, because that will determine your mindset before you go in and how strong you need to be when it gets really rough like this. So this is an important concept. A lot of people don't talk about this, but it's one of the things that we take a step back from our marketing campaigns and look at it before we say it worked or it didn't work. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.